Tasty, tasty.
Hey folks, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you're doing really well. It's just gone 8 p.m. here in the UK, Let's catch up with chat, see who's first. Captain Reed says, did RRO first? Yes, you came first. Clearly not the nice guy. That's a terrible joke. Super Hands is here as well. It says, evening all. Building a keyboard while watching a man talk about keyboards. Who's the man we're watching? Who's that? Jenga, hey man, good to see you. Anaki's here as well. Thank you very much for Anarchy. MA55EN says, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Rue's here too, so is Random Keebs. Jay building a thick boy today. Yeah, I haven't actually looked at the board, so I don't know what colour it is or anything else. We'll see. Yeah, I haven't opened it, so I don't think it's. I'm looking at the box now. It doesn't say on the box what colourway it is either. True Blaze is here as well. So is Greyhound. So JMS. Cargery, thank you so much for 34 months of subs, dude. I thoroughly appreciate you. Hoping people are enjoying a long bank holiday. Yeah, we're actually closed tomorrow, so when we start with PT News, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Frankie says, I really want to see and hear a PC version of the Class65. I'm pretty sure there isn't a PC version available. They're all aluminium for the prototypes, but we'll have a look at it in a few minutes. And Bazooka says the same, yeah. F1 is on. Is this a short stream? So we'll see. I'm not going to get the stream finished by the time the F1 starts, but I do have it available on catch-up TV. So I'm hoping that I can get home quite quickly and then watch it at home, cuddled up on the couch with the dog. We'll see. Old-fashioned to be made. Nice. BK's here as well. Says hi Jay. Hi chat. Smoked Out says, how's it going today, Jay? Yeah, it's been a good day. I went and saw a friend this morning for a couple of hours, helped them out with an event that they were doing. I just carried things for half an hour. And as well as that, I took the dog for a nice long walk, about an hour and a half, something like that. Done a few jobs around the house. I watched a movie. I watched the movie Oblivion with Tom Cruise in. And now I'm here at the workshop, which is great. Store says, hey man, thanks for being here. Okay. So, oh, that's good. Oh, I've had terrible coffee all day today, so it's nice to have a nice coffee finally. Be right back in the Star for a couple of laps, and I'm back and watching the race at home. Nice. Fair enough. Right, okay, so let's start off with some PT news. What's happening at PT? So tomorrow we are closed. Monday is a bank holiday, which is why this stream will have significantly fewer viewers than normally we would get on a weekend. But it's a bank holiday weekend here in the UK, which means everybody is off work tomorrow and everyone gets an extra day on their weekend. That means we're closed tomorrow because UPS just won't collect, so there's no point in us being here really. And the team want the day off like everyone else gets as well. Almost everyone. So yeah, so we're going to be closed tomorrow. I'm going to try and take a hike with the dog. I'm going to try and get up and do Mam Tour for sunrise. That might be a bit ambitious, but we'll see. We'll see, because if I don't do it for sunrise, it'll be really busy. So we'll see. If not, then I'm going to take the dog to a dam, which is not too far away from here, which you can, there's like a 5-mile walk around, which is quite nice, called Ogden Water. That's a little bit closer, less of a drive. So we'll see, but I'm going to do one of those two tomorrow. And then Tuesday, I'll be back here at the workshop, just me on Tuesday, and Sharon will be working remotely. And then Mel's back in on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. There's quite a few orders ready to pack when we're back, so I'm going to be taking a look at that. And then when Mel's back in on Wednesday, I've got a few kind of like things that I need to do. So there's constantly stuff that we need to do for the accountant and spreadsheets to go through, payments to make, and contracts to look at. So that's kind of like going to be my Wednesday through to Friday after Mel's back. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. During the stream today, we are doing 10% off of any in-stock keyboard kit. You can use the code streaming10. It should be, in fact, I'll pin it, and there's a link there as well, so you can get 10% off any keyboard kit whilst the stream is live. That code will expire as soon as the stream ends today as well. So yeah, that's kind of it for PT News this week. It's kind of a quiet week. I've got some other stuff going on to talk about meetups and stuff on Wednesday night, I think. So we'll see how that goes, what that looks like. And there's some new projects coming as well, which have some meetings this week as well, which could be quite interesting. And our next shipment is on its way too. So there's actually 2 shipments in flight at the moment. which is kind of unusual for where we're at, because it's usually 4 to 6 weeks and it's usually fine. But this week there's going to be 3 shipments in flight, because Sharon's just currently arranging the next shipment from China. So shipment 1 is on its way from China. That's somewhere at sea right now. The last time I checked, it was off the coast of Africa, South Africa. That should arrive here by mid-May, a couple of weeks time. 21st of May, I think it arrives at port, so 3 weeks time. So we should get those 25th-ish, 26th, whatever that Monday is. I'm just trying to look at a calendar here. 26th. We should get them around the 26th. And then there's another shipment which is coming from Gion. That's got the F1 ATEX keyboards in. That's a big shipment, and I don't know which chip Gion picked for this. Like, he arranged the shipping for it, but it seems to be going the wrong direction at the moment. So hopefully it'll come back around quite quickly. So we need to check out when that's going to arrive. And then our next container from China is being scheduled this week to leave as soon as possible. So that's going to leave either late this week or early next, probably early next now, just because of the bank holiday Monday. Because it's Labor Day in China, so they're actually shut until. Oh yeah, so Labor Day they're shut all this week, so it's going to be next week. It's going to be week commencing the 12th when we get that next container running out of China. So at that point there will be 3 containers in flight to track, which is time consuming to say the least. Average Joe, hey man, glad to see you being here. Don't forget, Joe, you need to let me know where to send that watch as well. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan for those. It's going to be interesting to see how they pan out, because there's a lot of product in each one. There's some things that are split across multiple shipments, and the F1s are going to arrive in between. And I think towards the back end of May, early June, we're going to be quite busy. The other thing I need to arrange this week is PT is going to be one of the vendors at the GMK event at the end of June, 28th of June. If you haven't seen this, it's basically a meetup at GMK's headquarters in Germany, near Regensburg. And PT is going to be there. We're going to have a stall there. So Mel and I are flying out, I think, on the Wednesday or the Thursday, which will be the 25th or 26th of June. We're going to be there until the Sunday, Monday, and then we'll fly back. So I think we fly back on the 30th of June, I think, which is the Monday. And then we're back at work from the Tuesday. So that's going to be interesting and really cool. I need to book and pay for the flights for that this weekend. The hotel's booked, just not the flights yet. So that's going to be an interesting one. Comdata, hi Jay, any news JO1 or JO2 bottoms tops full sets plan? So the new JO1 will happen. If you haven't been around for a little while, we made some prototypes towards the back end of summer last year, so around August, September time, and they came out really, really great. There was a few slight tweaks that we wanted to make, which we've done. The reason why we haven't run another pre-order for those just yet is because a lot of other vendors went bust and cost prototypists a lot of money. So we lost a lot of money to Captus keycaps, and we lost a lot of money due to the Nerf fiasco with loop switches and a few other bits and pieces as well, all tied together. And that's just sapped capital. So I don't want to run a pre-order for a product until I've paid for it in full in production when it's something in-house that we're producing, like the JO1 would be. So the new JO1 will happen. I've got 3 prototypes just the other side of my monitor, all lined up, and that will happen at some point this year. It's just been delayed whilst we recoup capital because of all of the crap that's happened, because we need to have, like, £250,000 lying around just to be able to put towards that to make sure everything happens great. So yes, that will happen. There are JO2 tops and bottoms in stock at the moment. You can buy a full in fact I can show you this. Let's flick over to Buildstream, turn on browser sharing, and you guys should be able to see the browser. If you go onto the website and you search for JO2, you can pick up the raw aluminium bare bones. So this is a pen rail top case, mid piece, and bottom case in raw, sandblasted, unanodized aluminium. You might see watermarks from the CNC machining process and stuff. These are just raw that we got in case we had B stock units to produce, and they are sold just as a case only. There's no gaskets, there's no PCBs, there's no plates or anything with these at the moment. And you can Cerakote them, you can anodize them, you can sandblast them, you can do whatever you want to them. Some people come up with some really, really cool stuff, but those are in stock and will ship pretty much immediately. So if you order them today, they'll ship on Tuesday, which is our next day that we're open. And they're pretty cheap. It's just 160 quid for the case. It's pretty cheap. So yeah. Wedding not until August, a few months yet. No worries, dude. No worries. Busy bees, all good stuff. Yeah, it kind of never ends around here at PT. There's always a ton of stuff to do. But yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. I'm going to try and drink all my coffee this week instead of letting it go cold as well. What is your educated guess on what DCS keycaps prototypers will run next as pre-order group buy? We're working with Carter on the Dolch stuff, so I think that's not too far away. There's a couple of other... There is another one that someone reached out to me a couple of weeks ago to help get them quotes for and stuff like that I can't say too much about, but that's more pastel colours. Yeah, so there's a few things. There's a few things there. My heart rate jumped when I saw JO2 gaskets were in stock. Forgot it's the OG. Yeah, so those ones that are in stock, the JO2 gaskets are the original version of the JO2, not the blackout edition version of the JO2, which is what the raw cases are from. So those won't work on the new cases. This, let me show you. This product listing here, this is not compatible with this. They are two completely different versions of the boards. The files are available for plates and gaskets for the JO2 raw aluminium version though. If you scroll down to our, where is it? Oh, I just going blind. Resources page here. And you come into the JO2 Blackout Edition, you will find that there is gasket files available. You can get the one-piece gasket, get the firmware, you can get the plate files. Pretty much everything is available for the JO2 Blackout Edition, which is what those raw ones come from. So you can pick those up quite easily. Okay. So yeah, so just to give you a few updates on things that are happening on the website right now. Crimson Cadet, Wapuro, and Space Cadet all went in stock on Thursday last week, Wednesday, Thursday last week, so you can pick those up. Other key things to call out as well is our QK Neo pre-orders that will open for the May batch on Tuesday, because we're closed over the weekend and it just happens to be where the end of the month's fallen. The old ones, the April batch is closed, the May batch hasn't quite opened yet. That'll be sorted out soon. GMK Prussian Blue keycaps have gone into pre-order. The group buys happened, they're now in production, they're now available in pre-order. If you want to pick those up, you can do. And then there's a ton of group buys happening, including the one we're going to look at today. So we're going to be building a Class 65 V3. This is in group buy right now, so maybe this stream will make you want to pick one up. I don't know what configuration we've got, but we'll take a look. We'll take a look. When will the DCS Dolch be? I don't know, dude. If I'm completely honest, Mango Rocky, I don't know at the minute off the top of my head. But it'll be announced on all of the usual channels when it's ready to go. Okay, if you're interested in coffee, you can pick up the coffee I'm drinking today, which is the Fiction Blend from Jay's Roastery. Please do take a look if you're interested, jaysroastery.co.uk. And if you want to support us on Ko-fi or coffee, then this is what pays for mine, Mel's, and Sharon's lunches every month. If you're interested in supporting us, feel free to. And if we hit the goal, which we're 96% of the way to the goal, then we'll do a free giveaway playing marbles towards the end of the stream as well. The other thing as well is you also get to join the SPC, which gives you Discord access and exclusive discounts for the SPC. Those happen periodically whenever we have something that happens. If you join the SPC Plus tier, you also get some free keyboard build service, and if you join the SPC XL, you also get the Inner Circle. So that means that you might get access to exclusive products, you might get first dibs on certain things, you might get sent prototypes to test and share feedback on, all sorts of different stuff. So yeah, please do take a look if you're interested. And you also get to join the SPC Discord channel, which is pretty cool, even if I do say so. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for PT news. It feels like it's a relatively light week for news, but you know, there's always stuff happening in the hobby. If you've got anything you have a question about, anything related to PT or anything keyboard related even, or even anything not keyboard related, then please feel free to ask away in chat. Just tag me, but then I'll finish this coffee and we'll take a look at the Class 65. Okay, that is so good. I know I shouldn't say it about my own product and my own produce, but it is nice to have a good coffee. The what's the website? It's Ko-fi. You can see the link just underneath me here, kofi.com/jpt, or you can subscribe on here. Yeah. Really hope the solenoid works this time. Yeah, so the solenoid on the 21XX didn't work with the secondary PCB they'd sent. But when I tested it the next day, I plugged the original PCB back in and then tested that, and then had to send it straight off to Canon Keys. That worked. So I think it was either a firmware issue or maybe a soldering issue from the factory on the secondary PCB, and that was potentially the issue. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, you can subscribe to the SPC in two ways. You can either subscribe through Twitch, which is absolutely perfectly fine. Just bear in mind that half of your subscription goes to Twitch, or you can do it through Ko-fi, and the PT team get a much bigger.
Tasty.
There you go. And Comdates55 subscribe through Ko-fi. Thank you so much for that. We are now 97% towards the goal. So thank you very much for that, guys. I really appreciate it. Right. Let's crack on with the build, because I do want to try and catch some of the Formula 1 today. Oh, and this keyboard, this is awesome. I'm in love with this thing more than I can tell you. I even put after the stream last week, I even put the PT logo on the little screen. Look. You might recognize that from the Discord server. So yeah, it's just super cool. Such a cool keyboard. It's the Matrix 100NG. Right, okay, so yeah, questions, if you've got any, please pop them in chat. Any ETA on a fixed ISO PCB for it? So I do have a PCB that is solderable and will support ISO for the 100NG, and I have a carbon fiber plate for it as well, which I specifically requested from Matrix Labs. But there is an issue with that, and the issue is that the PCB supports split left shift and ISO enter, but the position for the shift key on split left shift is in the wrong position by a quarter of a unit. It's out by a quarter of a unit. So they're not going to make any more PCBs, because I think I'm the only person that's asked for them. And the upshot of this is I've got two choices. It's either have full left shift and ISO enter. We'll see how I feel about that. The other option is I drill the PCB and I risk ruining the whole thing to try and make a switch position where there isn't one, and then I run some jumper wires. That feels like the path I'm going to do, because the upshot of it is, even if it doesn't work, I still have this PCB, which I will turn to BAE and use it as BAE. But you know, we can see how drilling it goes. Maybe we'll do that on stream. Maybe we'll actually drill it on stream and see how it goes. Yeah, we'll do it on stream if we can. Matrix keyboards often grow me. I normally want one about 6 months after the group buy is closed, and now I want the NG that you have. So there's only 70 of these, and I think you would struggle to get one for a reasonable price on the aftermarket right now. If you are interested, Supans, you're one of the few people I'd consider selling this to, but I do have another Matrix full-size keyboard. This is a Matrix Able, which has the numpad and the TKL cluster inverted. It is ANSI only, but it's pretty cool. It does have a spare PCB with it, but anyway, yeah, it's very old. Yeah, I don't know. That was one of their first boards back in 2015. Yeah, it's 2015, so yeah. If you're interested, Mr. Supens, we could potentially talk. How often people approach PT to help run, manufacture, produce their keyboard designs? Quite often. So it depends on what you mean by run, manufacture, and produce, Mango Rocky. So quite often we'll be approached and we will... So it depends. So the group buys run in different ways. So I think it's easy to explain it this in a slightly different way. Often there's people like Matrix Labs who come to us and ask to sell their product, and we just sell it for a local area. So I think that's companies like Matrix Labs, it's companies like QWERTY Keys, it's companies like Mellatrix, all those kinds of companies who already do their own production. We just sell the product, they ship the product to us, and we ship it out. The second type is where designers are doing their own manufacturing. So a good example of this is Justin at JJW, so who's done the Derivative, the Moment, and a few other boards, and the Cloudline, for example, and he will take care of all of production pretty much. We tend to say no to a lot of those because we've had problems with it in the past, such as with Kiko's Lab and other projects like that just going wrong, taking forever, causing us money delays, people not paying invoices, and we pay them and then we have to pay twice. And then the third type is where people come to us and say, hey Jay, here's my design, would you like to produce it? So we've done this in the past with a few designs, and we tend to step away from that a lot of the time for two big reasons. One is the UK as a whole is pretty small when it comes to the worldwide market for these things. So if we have a board that's going to sell 500 units, realistically 250 of those are going to be in the US, 30 of those are going to be in the UK, and the rest are going to be spread around the world. When we have one of the smallest markets, it doesn't make financial sense for us to spend all of the resources, the project management time, and everything else, putting that kind of effort into producing the product. It only makes sense for us to do that if we're going to be the worldwide vendor for something. So like when we did the Argyle and the Allison and the JO1s and things like that, the JO2s, then it kind of makes sense for us to do it. So generally what we will do is we'll help the designer come up with the idea, make it like round out the design idea, make sure that it's viable. We will help them make a couple of prototypes potentially, and then typically what happens is we will help put them in touch with some larger vendors, and then one of the larger vendors will tend to take the lead because it's just more financially viable if they're selling 300 units rather than us selling 30 units. Just because there is cost associated within a business of running that kind of thing. So it really depends, but we do take on some production stuff and make it for some people, and we've done it. We've been kind of the fulfillment service for a lot of group buys that we haven't even sold in some cases. So it really depends, Mango Rocky. It really depends. I think anyone who is looking to approach a vendor should speak to a vendor who's got a lot of experience in shipping stuff before they start to look at other vendors, if that makes sense. That would be my advice. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff that comes to us, and then we say, yeah, that's great, I think it's a really great idea. Maybe you want to have a chat with Canon Keys or Novel Keys or whoever else, and then they become the lead vendor. Just because from a financial perspective, like, you know, if you imagine it this way, the cost, let's say it costs us $3,000 in terms of staff hours just to produce the keyboard. We then have to do that across 30 keyboards, which makes it £100 an hour. We never make £100 profit on a keyboard. Whereas if we were selling 300, you know, it would only be 30 an hour, which is probably our break-even point. So yeah, it really depends. Okay, well, Mr. Smooth Salesman is on. No, not at all, but you know, the option's there if you want a full size. So yeah, right, we are going to get a visit from Mr. Bezos in 17 seconds, so I'm just going to talk crap about the build that we're going to do today rather than actually start it until after Bezos has left. So if you get ads, I apologise, you're going to get them in a few seconds time. But yeah, today we're going to do the build with Gateron XR3 switches, which I hope I have enough in this bag for. We should do. These are the factory lube switches. They're completely stock. I have not changed or modified these in any way, but I think these are going to be really nice in the board, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to also be using, where are these ads? Are they actually starting yet? I don't know. Type Plus stabilizers. This is a brand new full set. I thought I had enough kind of half packs of stabilizers lying around to use those, but turns out not, so we're just going to use a full pack. Start a new pack. I did think I'd have plenty of spares laying around, but they're all empty packets. Have you tried the Gateron Smoothie switches? How do they compare to these ones? Yeah, I've tried the Gateron Smoothies. We got, I think we got 1,000 samples of those. I tend to prefer the Gateron X switches personally, but that's because I tend to prefer that kind of old school feel rather than the whole new school feel of no scratch, no feel, no nothing, whereas these are closer in some respects to how a cherry switch might feel, if that makes any sense. Well, if it doesn't, ask a question again. It's fine for me to try and elucidate that a little bit better. Okay, the ads are now on as well, which is great. We only have some samples. We tend to get some, like when we get samples, they're usually between. Sometimes it can be as few as like this many, which was this. I think this is a sample of the Ashes switches. I think we got like 5. Yeah. So, maybe a few more. We got maybe 10 of the Ashes switches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so we got 10 as a sample of those. But sometimes when we get samples, it can be like 1,000 switches, like it's just a full tub from the manufacturer. Often when we do that for cherry switches and other products, it's like 1,000. And I'm pretty sure the Gator and Smooths, we had them. They're not for sale, no. When we get switches for samples, we're not legally allowed to sell them because they've been provided to us for free for testing purposes, and that's what we tend to give away on stream. When we give stuff away, it tends to be the stuff that we haven't paid for and that we've been given to build on stream or to test. Like eventually at some point we'll give this Class65 V3 away. Not today, but at some point we will give them away. So yeah, that tends to be what happens. It's like the original samples for the cheesecake switches from last year that were really popular. I still have them. I use these in test builds quite a lot, but at some point in a hot swap test build, these will probably end up being given away as well. Yeah, so we can't sell stuff like that. It'd just be unfair for us to sell stuff like that, and against my moral compass. Right, we've got about a minute of ads left, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I do wish we could stream on Twitch without ads. Maybe I need to look at streaming on YouTube as well. Maybe we should try that actually. Can I change it while we're live? No, I can't. Okay, but I do think at some point we might have to try streaming on YouTube as well. Do it live. I can't, unfortunately. Like I was just looking at the options. Like as soon as I click into the options and click on multi-streaming, it like just says no. You have to stop the stream and restart so that they can log into it, because we aren't logged into through Streamlabs, which is what I use. I'm not logged into YouTube, so you cannot change these settings when you're live. I can't share it, but it says you cannot change these settings when you're live, so I cannot do it. But I think we'll try and do that for next week. I think YouTube still has ads. Yeah, I think it does, but it might be better for some people. You have an army of beta testers online. Yeah, I think we'll try and do it for next week, because I'll need to sign into some accounts and set some stuff up, and yeah, because we have the closed captions on here as well. So if you are on Twitch watching right now, you can turn on closed captions, which give you not the best translation of what I'm saying, but a sort of translation. How does Twitch chat work over YouTube? So you wouldn't see the chat at the side of the screen. You would still see the chat that's here. You would still see this, but you would only see this because that's Twitch chat. I think if we made it permanent, what I would probably do is I would probably turn off this so you can't see the chat on the VODs effectively, and we would just have the 2 cameras and maybe some other information there. So yeah, so I think maybe we'll have a play around with it and we'll see. I mean, if you want to do some testing, cool. Yeah, I might do. Tactile switches today. If I was going to pick anything, it would be the cheesecake switches right now. That's just purely my preference. Other than that, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but a good old Cherry MX Brown. It's a light tactile. They have that great cherry feel. If you lube them well, they're a fantastic switch. People are going to hate me for saying that, but it's true. They are great. I've got them in my Jane, and I love them. I've got a Jane V2 CE, and that's got MX Browns in. Vintage MX Browns, they're not really, but they're like from 1995 or something. Yeah, Browns are great. Why would people play? Dude, like when I built the Jane on stream, I think that was on Top Clack days, but when I built the Jane on stream and put Browns in it, I got so many negative comments. Like so many people hated the fact that I'd done that. So yeah, but it is what it is. I tend not to be a tactile user these days. I tend to, if I'm going to be using the keyboard, I tend to want to build with linears, but there are some great tactile switches out there. Browns and CRP slaps. Yeah, I didn't have CRP, but I did have JCS on it last time I used the board, so the anti-Alexotos build. It reminds me, I need to reach out to Alex on another project as well, so I'll do that soon. Yeah, okay, I need to add that to my list of things to do. Haters gonna hate. No one is gonna like everything the same. We did a build not so long back actually, where what was that? We did tactiles on the modifiers and linears on the alphas. I can't remember what board it was, but we did that not too long ago. And people tried it here at the open day, and it was quite intriguing. Some people really liked it, some people didn't like it. It was interesting to see what people thought about it. But that used to be a really common way of building keyboards, to have a tactile on the modifiers and linears on the alphas. Would you ever run an event in London? Watch this space. Gonna happen soon. Yeah. Good evening, Alvy. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, but event in London, some things kind of in the works for that. And there will be another PT Open Day in early 2026 as well. So yeah. Throw 100 different switches in one board and throw Handabite on it. I have just the board for that iconic bear. Demotex is not watching today, but if he was, he would tell you more about it. Right, okay, let's crack on with the build anyway, because I am swiftly running out of time tonight. Oh, gosh, that's heavy. What a chunk. So, this is the Class65 V3 box. Move that board out of the way. This is how it comes packaged in this nice, very large box. You can see it's got the Studio branding on the sides, and details on the top, but it doesn't detail anywhere what particular options we've got here. It just says we've got an aluminium case one. So who knows? We'll find out in a few minutes. Top layer, we've got screwdrivers. We don't need those because I'll use my proper ones. We've got some feet, and it's actually labelled feet. We have got some extra extra ribbon cables, pour and gaskets, some extra screws, and some top mount accessories, which we'll take a look at when it comes to putting the board together. But it looks like a little rubberized foot and some screws to hold those in place. Okay, then we have a wired hot swap PCB. I think if we can build this ISO, we'll go with the hot swap today. We also have a polypropylene plate, which is what we're going to build with today as well. And then for another build, which will be probably next week, we have the soldered wired PCB and an aluminium plate. So we're probably going to build that one next week on stream and see how that sounds. And then we have a foam pack, which, because we're using the polypropylene plate, we'll probably use this with the aluminium build. Weird question, but can you recommend a good leather card wallet? Sure. So, I'll show you mine, because I really, really like this. This is my wallet. It's green leather. It's made by Mulberry. And just making sure I had no receipts in there. It's really nice. Like, I've used this for years, so yeah. That would be my recommendation. Wrist rest looks nice. The wrist rest is here. Look at this. Oh, that is sleek. Look at that. That's really sleek. Let's take a look at this properly. This is a prototype. Yeah, I can take that. This thing's grouped by right now on prototypers. Here's the wrist rest.
Incredible.
That lovely walnut. Inside a huge slab of aluminium. Feet already installed. And then magnetized gaskets on the rear as well. That's really nice. Super, super nice. Pop that to one side. What's the weight of that rest? I don't know. We can waste stuff at the end. I think I have. Did I get a battery for this or not? Yeah, we can wait at the end because my scales are working. So we'll weigh everything at the end of the stream. Kevin Babes, thank you so much for the 24 months of subs. Happy 2nd birthday. As a coffee enthusiast, do you think there's a noticeable difference when it comes to coffee storage containers? So yes. So here at the workshop, we get through quite a lot of coffee. We probably get through 500 grams a week, something like that. We get through a lot of coffee here. But there is a noticeable difference between when we open a bag of coffee, because we produce like our own coffee anyway. So I would generally have it in kilogram bags. And that will last us about 2 weeks. But there is generally a noticeable difference between the start when I open that bag and the end when I would close that bag. Here at the workshop, it's okay because we just pop it in a hopper, it's straight into the grinder. We grind the beans fresh every day. But over that 2 weeks, every other day, we have to adjust the grinder to be slightly finer as the beans age. At home, I don't have that issue because I have a completely airtight sealed container. It came from a fellow, I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of these jobbies where you have like a plunger, you push down, it pushes all of the air out and you seal a lid on. The coffee in that stays fresher for much longer than it does here at the workshop. Like I can put coffee in that and be completely happy that it's going to be fine a month down the line, because I tend to drink maybe a kilo a month at home. But yeah, so there is absolutely a difference. If you can, keep your coffee beans unground in an airtight container and cool and dry and dark. Freeze your beans whole if you can as well, if you're not going to use them and not going to open the bag. Like if you plan on opening a bag in 3 weeks time, freeze it. So different beans will taste better when they're off gassed for longer. So if you buy our fiction blend from us, for example, which is what I'm drinking right now, the beans tend to taste best about 6 weeks after they've been roasted. Other beans with other companies may be best immediately after they've been roasted or up to 10 weeks after they've been roasted. Really varies, but yeah, really varies. Very excited to see this build. I've already ordered it. No going back now. Nice. Mr. Ozkilling, welcome. Here is the board itself. Ugh. So it looks like we've got the silver and brass unit here. Look at that cool layout and that chunky bezel. That really nice seam on the sides. And then here's the bottom view. What a great looking keyboard. What an absolutely banger looking keyboard. Rear view. It's already got the magnetic JST cables installed, magnetic kind of door-to-board connector installed, which is pretty cool. And then there is also, it's difficult to show you right now, but I'll show you when I take the case apart. There is the solenoid down here, just underneath this edge. So we'll take a look at it soon. Right, let's pop the case and through the box out of the way. Let's see how this is going to look with the wrist rest. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how nice that looks. Oh yeah. What a special thing. That's super cool. I thought this was magnetic. It's not, it's just rubberized. But I did think it was magnetic, but I was wrong. Right. Okay, let's take the case apart. In fact, actually, let's put feet on the board first. .85 kilograms. That seems about right. I'd say it was about a kilo, just from like the heft of it. That's surprising. Also using vacuum seal container, but I have to adjust the grinder anyway over time. I think it depends on your grinder and your setup and how tolerant you can be of slightly different tasting beans. Let's get the feet installed. These are self-adhesive, but the backing paper does not want to come off. There we go. green with the walnut penrist looks great. Yeah. Green and wood always looks great together though. The red is lovely. Yeah, I quite like the red in this. We weren't able to pick and choose what colour prototypes we got, but if we had been able to pick and choose, I would have probably asked for the red one. Okay. Like to see grey feet for the silver case? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, the thing is, you're buying them in. You'd have to buy them in such bulk to be able to do them at a reasonable price for different, you know, colours feet. It may not be worthwhile doing it. And no one looks at the feet anyway because they're underneath the board. Right, let's take these screws out. And then I should be able to see the iconic bear. Every time I see your name, it just reminds me of Chain Bear, the Formula 1 YouTuber. I don't know if you watch him, but every time I see your name, it reminds me of him. OnlyFans would say otherwise about feet popularity. Do you know what, right? Like, I get that people are into different fetishes and stuff. I've never understood the one about feet. Like, I don't look at feet and think, yeah. I look at feet and think, it's a foot. Like, I don't want to yuck anyone else's yum, but I don't understand that one. It's one of those things I don't understand. Okay, that's screwed. I'm probably going to need to turn it over for. If someone tried to put their feet on me, I would not be into that. What's the greatest F1 team of all time? Why is it Ferrari? I'm smiling through the pain. If this is spoilers about today, don't tell me. But Hamilton had a good result yesterday. I know not in the qualifying, but he had a great result in the sprint race. Like he made a really good call with the team and did well. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Ferrari. If I had to pick the greatest F1 team of all time, who would I pick? If you mean of all time, like going back to like the 50s, I'd probably pick Williams. Probably. Just because a lot of the stuff they've done, they were the first to do. Like, they were the first team to introduce ground effect and adaptive suspension and, you know, adaptive braking. Like, when innovation mattered more than grey areas in the rules, I think Williams were the kings of coming up with something that no one else could see. Like, they were just brilliant at that. McLaren are my team, right? They are my team, 100%. Are they the greatest F1 team of all time? No. I genuinely think I'd pick Williams for that, even though I'm not a Williams fan, just because of what they brought to the sport and how they managed to do it, and the fact that, you know, Frank used to turn up in in just a standard 2-bedroom caravan and stuff when all the teams had a big motorhomes and things. McLaren are very different. What Ron Dennis built in McLaren is very much a corporate kind of environment rather than a homespun environment, and they've been successful through mainly sticking with trends and being, you know, and spending money. That's it, rather than being truly innovative. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I probably wouldn't pick McLaren. They'd probably be mid-tier in terms of, like, you know, greatest F1 teams of all time. Unless you just look at records. So yeah. Right, okay. So that's the top case now removed. And let's have a look on the inside. Okay, so you can see where the top mount parts slot in. There is little grooves here. You can see another one just there as well. So we can probably prep that now. Although, does it need to be on the plate? Let's take a look. Does need to be on the plate, so let's not put those in just yet. We can have a look at those later on. Okay, and then here on the base, you'll see that we've got the speaker and the solenoid. Solenoid is just a noisemaker. Basically, as every time we press a key, it's going to fire that fire that pin. It's going to be super loud, but we'll enjoy it. Okay, let's pop that just out of the way now. Right. PP plate and buzzy buzz go buzz. It will go really buzzy as well with that. I imagine it's going to sound quite loud in that case as well. Interestingly, on the design, they've got these kind of like cutouts here on the internals, which is quite fun. I like that. The evening's complete because I didn't say polypropylene and I said the shortened version. I'll throw in one every now and again for you, don't worry. So here's the PCB in lovely prototype yellow. And on the rear, you'll see it's got the magnetic connector here, which will snap onto the connector inside the case. I love a yellow PCB. They always look great. The first time I ever saw a yellow PCB was like 2016 when Max had one produced. Cable car designs. Really, really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. It's cool. Right. Put the plate the right way around. There we go. Okay, so in terms of the build today, we are going to go for ISO here because this PCB will support ISO in the hot swap version. So let's get a cloth out and some lubricant. And a brush. Oh wait, is my Discord notifications playing noise to you guys? Oh, I know why. I know why. Okay, now it will stop now. It will stop now. Okay, so first up we're going to go for full backspace. And I'm just going to assemble these first, and then once they're assembled, we will lubricate them afterwards. We've got backspace. And then next up we're going to have ISO enter. If I assemble this the right way around, there we go. And then I think this is going to be a 7U space bar, but we should only need 3 stabilizers for this build. There we go. Let's just check the spacebar size. Is it 7U or is it 6.25? It's 6.25. I was wrong. Almost as bad as USB connected sound, which freaks me the hell out. That's a system sound, so I'd have to turn off system sounds for that. If I had a dedicated streaming PC and not just a PC that does everything, I'd maybe be able to look at doing that. Do I ever bother with the force brake stickers? Only if something really needs it. Like, I mean, if you mean the ones for like on here, like I will use them sometimes for the stabilizers, but very rarely do I use it for cases. I think there's only been a few times where cases have needed it in my experience, but yeah. Yeah, I thought it was 7U, but it's not. It's definitely 6.25U because, look, there you go. Definitely 6.25 new. Okay, I don't know why this lot doesn't work out. Come on. Apply these to the PCB very quickly. I think the solder PCB does support both from memory. I can take a look in a second. But the hot swap one only supports 6.25U on this version. Also, Mr. Superhand, you'll have to let me know how your replacement PCB works for your Mr. Taxi. Oh, I've creased this one. I have creased the sticker here. There we go. Yeah, I think that's in the production. It does support both, but I'm pretty sure in the prototypes only the solder one supports both. Yeah, I think it did change. Yeah. Okay, there we go. That's those now installed. Right, let's put the stabilizers to one side, and now it's time to zoom in a little bit, and we'll get these switches lubricated up. Stabilizers, even, not the switches. Stabilizers. The Gridwalk has Testo as a DJ. Oh no. One done. Way too many people on the grid. I mean, it's Miami. I expect there to be a ton of people on the grid there. It will be the place to be this weekend if you are a celebrity, I suspect. Which is fine. It's good for F1 overall. Still hoping to get tickets to go to Silverstone this year, but we'll see. We shall see if that happens. Okay, that's the second one done, and now we're just going to do the space bar. Right, that's our stabilizers all now lubricated. Let's pop these into the board. You're a Max fan? Oh no. Oh no. I cannot deny the man's talent, but I am not a fan of Max Verstappen. He's incredibly talented, but I do not gel with his vibe. Let's put it that way. I'm a McLaren fan through and through, so where did we put the stabilizers? I need the screws from them. Oh, I've already got the screws out here. Look, Stacks Verstappen, Vrax Verstappen. Sure, you can go with it, whichever of those you'd like to. So, I think when Max first started out, he was incredibly aggressive in terms of his racing style, and whilst he has mellowed out somewhat over the past couple of years, I can't deny his talent. He's unbelievably talented, and I'm not particularly a Lewis Hamilton fan either, but I do feel like 2021 was a bit of a turning point, and there was a lot of things that Verstappen did used to get away from in terms of his racecraft that many other drivers have been penalised for. So I think there was a bit of the FIA is getting better at this, being more consistent now, which is great. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't like the way he entered Formula One. There was a lot of his racecraft early on in the early days that I didn't particularly like. I just find him an interesting character. I'm sure off the track he's lovely, but why does this not want to go in? Let's do the backspace one first. Yeah, I struggle to appreciate him as a person, but I can absolutely appreciate his racing skill. He can rub the people the wrong way. Yeah, aggressive racing style. So in racing, there's a series of kind of like suggestions and rules about leaving space for opponents. And most of the drivers will do that and drive fairly. Max Verstappen has in the past driven people off the road to keep his position and stuff. There's actually been some rule changes on how you do this year, but he would drive to beyond the letter of the rules and outside of the spirit of the rules to protect his position or to generate himself a better option. He would be very, very aggressive in terms of defending as well. So one of the other things is coming up to a corner, you can only move across the track once to defend. You can't like just weave across the track, and historically he used to do that as well. So like, there's no one particular reason. I just feel like he's just very different to a lot of other drivers on the grid. So I'm struggling to get the stabilizer in here, and I've just realized why. So the stabilizer here for the hot swap ISO, it comes through this hole here and this hole here, but this one is so pushed up tight against this. Can you see there that it's hard to show you? Like it can't come through and click in properly because the hot swap socket is blocking the stabilizer from pushing through the hole. The stabilizer just won't click in because it can't fit because of the hot swap socket. It's really hard to show you on the stream, but that's the issue we're facing here. I might have to trim the hot swap socket housing here. Yeah, I'm going to have to trim the hot swap socket housing. This is going to be interesting. So let me zoom right in and try and show you what I'm talking about here. So right here, this is where the stabilizer comes through the hole, and you can kind of see the gold all the way around the outside of the hole, but it doesn't click in to the hot swap socket because, as you can see here, it's like falling out of the socket as soon as I go, because it's hitting the hot swap housing there. There's like a little clash just there where they're touching. So I'm going to have to trim the hot swap socket ever so slightly to just try and fit this in a little bit better. This is definitely something I'm going to have to feed back to them.
because this kind of surgery. Am I going to need that hot swap socket? No.
Okay, so you'll now see that I have trimmed the black plastic away from the hot swap socket. It doesn't come all the way down the side like it does here. And now the stabilizer fits.
Or at least it fits better. Let's see if it fits fully. Oh, it doesn't quite fit fully. Let me just trim that a little bit more again.
And now it fits perfectly. So yeah, so that was some surgery to get that to fit.
Let's I'll just put this in and then I'll zoom the camera back out so you guys can see what I'm doing. Clearly you should remove all the sockets and solder switches. Well, we'll build the solder version next week, but I did want to test out the hot swap version. But this is good because I found something that I need to tell the manufacturer about, right? There is interference with stabilizers on the hot swap housing when you use ISO layout. I wonder if the option is there to flip the stabilizer position. So instead of having the wire on this side, you'd have the wire on this side. That might be an option. That doesn't look square. Why does that not look square? Oh, it's the sticker underneath that's not square. The actual stabilizer is square. Okay, great, fine. Right. Let's zoom this back out a bit. There we go. Okay, so now we've done that, it is time to install our plate and then our switches. Desolder it. I could have removed it because we don't need it. Plate fork. But I feel like ultimately it's probably best to keep it in play. Okay, let's try and get the first couple of switches installed here. There we go. Just going to try and do as much of the bottom row as I can here because the polypropylene plate's a bit softer than normal, so just want to make sure we're actually building correctly. And then we're going to go for split left shift, which means we need to use an upside down switch just here, and then another upside down switch just here, like so. No foam? No, we're going to use there is a foam pack, but we're going to save that for the aluminium plate build. So there's an aluminium solder build, which does support both size space bars. Look, there's both size space bars on here. So yeah, but we're going to use the foam pack with the aluminium and solder PCB at a later date. I think I said no foam rather than use foam. If I did misspeak, I apologize. Okay, let's try and get the rest of this bottom row done. And I'm just going to come around the bottom and do the actual bottom row rather than the home row, the shift row, sorry. couple of choices here in terms of layout, so we'll just fill these in. Do the side. For this next T column. And then we're going to do step caps lock because we always do step caps lock. And then we're going to finish off this row just here. I am hoping I have enough switches here, because if not I'm going to have to go grab some more from downstairs. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so ISO layout does go with the switch orientated to be east facing. And we'll just do the 3 up here. We tried brass or copper plates before. An interesting option for this board. I've tried brass and copper plates in many keyboards. I tend not to prefer them these days, but I have used them extensively in the past. These days I'm much more likely for a personal board to go for carbon fibre or POM. Those are kind of like my 2 go-to materials these days. Cesium plate before? Was it thucky? I have not tried a cesium plate. Lithium plates when? Yeah, like potassium when exposed to water. What am I getting up to on the bank holiday Monday? I'm going to go for a hike tomorrow, one of either 2 places. I'm either going to go to Mantor, which is in the Peak District, or if I don't get up in time to do that, I'm going to go to Ogden Water, which is about 3 or 4 miles away from my house, which is kind of like an old Victorian dam. We'll give that a try, but yeah, we'll see. There we go, guys. That is now all good to go. Time to pop this into the case. Now, in terms of the case, how we're going to fit this is we're going to go for the top mount option rather than the gasket option. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these top mount accessories. Now, how these work is they hold on to they screw into the top case, but they hold on to the plate. And they use these little rubber top mounts, which are going to sit in holes just like that one there. I'm going to pop these all in first. So you can see that these all go into their relative slots on the top case. And then we are going to put the screws in through the PCB assembly into the plate. And I'll show you what that looks like. So that's all of those in place. And you'll see here, this is where the mounts go
on the plate, but when you flip it over, you'll see there's just a big enough gap in the tabs for PCB mounting to locate the screws into the plate. So I'm going to drop that down into position now, just like so. And I'm going to take one of the screws, get the right size screwdriver, which I think is that one. And the first two we're going to do are going to be the two that are free and clear. I'm just going to screw that down like so. And then what we're going to do is come to the top of the case and thread through that gap, just like so. And we're going to do the next one as well. He says, there we go. Why is that not gripping? There we go. And we're going to come down to this bottom corner. Do the same thing there. And then here. Corners. And there we go, that should be now all mounted into place. Looking good. Okay, now we can pop the rest of the case back together. And as we connect the top case onto the bottom case, we should hear the magnets connect. Don't know if you heard that, but the magnet's connected. I think that's now working. So let's grab a cable before we seal it shut. And I'm just going to load up a switch hitter. And we're going to set this to be ISO layout. We're going to connect the keyboard. Test it. We're not getting anything there. Why not? There we go. We get the noise. Keys. Oh, it's opened up. Interestingly, it's opened up as a drive. Let me just try bridging the reset button here. Let me just try bridging the reset. Interesting, it is only opening up straight into the mode as though the escape key is held down. Go straight into the bootloader mode. Why is that doing that? Try again. Connected there. There we go. Oh, could you hear the? Did you hear the solenoid and the buzzer? That needs remapping because it's coming up with the wrong thing. Oh. That should be FN. Yeah. Okay, everything works. Let's turn it off for now. You can turn it off. Okay, so we know everything works. That's great. Okay, that means we can put the case back together properly now. Sounds like a fire alarm that needs battery replacing. It sounds significantly louder in real life, I'll tell you that for nothing. Okay, let's put these screws back in. You're legitimately buying one so you can take it into the office. I think the solenoid is fine. It's the beeper that's probably too loud for me. I wonder if there's a key combination to turn off the beeper or the solenoid. There must be. That must be built into the firmware. Well, I don't have the glazed ones as part of the options to pick from because everyone on every other stream I've seen has used the glazed keycaps. Hello, Gemma and an Irish lad. Welcome to the stream, guys. Okay, there we go. Board is now assembled, which means it is time for you guys to pick some keycaps. So let's get a poll up. I don't think we've got any mods watching, so I'm going to have to do the poll myself, which is fine. Where's the poll thing gone? Manage a poll. Here we go. New poll. Which keycaps? And I'll show you the options we've got. We've got the first choice we have. Nice purple set. GMK Black Lotus. The next option we have is GMK Mars Cadet. I thought that looked quite nice in the silver. The third option we have is in stock right now as well. Cap Generation. Nice and bright set. Oh, we have a fly. He's gone. I think I had spelled generation there. Here we have GMK Serica R2. And then finally, we have GMK Retro Muted. So, I'm going to start the poll. I'm going to nip for a quick comfort break while you guys pick. And I'll be back in a couple of minutes' time. So those are the options. The poll is live. Black Lotus, Mars Cadet, Cap Generation, Serica, and Retro Muted. Please pick as you will. I'll be back in a few minutes. SA Profile would be a good match. Do you know, actually, I tell you what, if all of these don't get more than like 50 votes, because there's like 100 people watching, if there's not more than 50 votes cast, we'll use SA Blacklight. How about that? Or Blackest Black, the one with the black light on. I'll dig that out and we'll use that. We'll see. Right, I'll be back in 1 minute. See you soon, guys. Okay, let's see. Let's see. How is there less than 50 votes here on the thing? How? How? Like, according to Streamlabs, there's 105 people watching right now. And we've got 9, 10, 15, 20 votes. You want to see Black is Black? Well, it looks like we're going to be using Black is Black. Oh man, I'm never going to get home for the Formula 1, am I? Okay, I see how you guys want it. Shall I go just grab Black is Black now? Twitch says 88. Twitch says for me 96. So I think it's different from everyone because it all depends on when you loaded the page as to when it updates and things like that. So I don't think it's particularly consistent. Right, we've got ads starting in a second. So we'll let the ads run and then we'll get keycaps on the board. But look how good this looks. This is going to look good no matter what keycap set we put on it, right? Yeah, it does look like we're going to be building with SA Black is Black. Yeah, okay, so cap generation 1, but I did say if there was less than 50 votes, we'd go for SA Black is Black. So I'm going to get those keycaps ready whilst the ads start, and we'll start putting the keycaps on the board. For those of you who don't know, SA Blackest Black is a black on black keycap set with a twist. It is basically incomprehensible without the use of a blacklight. So what that means is it means we're going to have to turn off at least one of the streamlights so we can actually see what the blacklight's showing. So in fact, we might have to turn off both. Is that one going to be better? Which one's going to be better? Probably we'll go with like this. So what we're going to have to do is use an actual flashlight, a black light to see what's going on. How do I watch the F1 these days? I have a subscription to Now TV. Okay. So first and foremost, we need a 6.25U spacebar. So I'm going to pop that on. Mr. Bezos is here. Now we can see how clean Joe's desk is. It's super clean. Super clean. Super clean. I have a 0 to hide. Oh wait, is that 6U that I've got? What is going on here with the spacebar? Why did that not fit? Is it? I think this is a 6U spacebar situation. No, it's not. It's 6.25. What am I about? It's 6.25. I just got the wrong spacebar. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, right, here is the next trick. To see the rest of the keycaps, we now have to use the black light. Plot twist. No, I just don't eat or drink at my desk. It's the easiest way. Right. Okay, so we're now going to have to turn the black light on and check each key to see whether we need it or not. That's a spacebar, so we don't need that. This is a shift key, and it's too big for what we need. I don't even know if this supports ISO, you know. That's also a shift key, too big for what we need. This is a control key, too big. That's a numpad plus. That is a, I think that's either a 6 or a 9 key. We don't need that. You see what I mean? But this is going to be an absolute pain. Caps lock, but we need stepped caps. I hope there's stepped caps in here. Plus or equals. We have one keycap on the board. Can you guys see that there is a legend on that? If I do that, there. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So if I do that, can you guys see that there is a legend without me showing it on directly? There, look. And then now there's no legend. Like, there's literally no legend. Too big.
Spacebar, we don't need it. Too big, we need 1.25. Oh, we have stepped caps lock. So let's pop that in. Have G, ASDF, ASDF, G, G. I haven't decided what we're going to put here. Probably page up and page down, and print screen, I think, and then we'll put just F keys there. Oh, we need a one new. Oh, is that 1.25? Yeah, that's 1.25 new. Yeah, okay, right, okay. Don't need that then. Backspace, but that's a 1.5U version. Backspace, and it's a 2U version. F8. Alt. Shift. Insert, we don't need. F6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F12 we don't need. That we don't need. This is another Alt. Let's pop that there. Division key. Numpad 0. Single back. There's a space bar. Numpad 1. F. D, F, G. Numpad 5. Spacebar. R. Q, W, E, R. This is going to take forever. K, G, H, J, K. C, ZX, C. Scroll look we don't need. V, C, V. 7. And FN, which we'll put there. Oh, this is going to be impossible to type on. Delete we don't need. That's a vertical enter. Is there an ISO enter anywhere in here? I hope there's an ISO enter. I pray there's an ISO enter. I don't actually see one. Oh man. Oh, there is one. There it is. I thought there wasn't going to be an ISO enter key then. Oh dear. Page down. Shift. Short shift. Yeah, apostrophe. I don't know what other ISO support there is, so we might have to change some keys on the fly here. We'll see. Pause we don't need. Page up in the correct profile goes there. For that we don't need. Command we don't need. That we don't need. B goes here. Arrows. Let's go in there. Escape. F3, 1, 2, 3. Z. GHJ. I apologize this is taking so long. I know this is very frustrating for you guys to watch. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. F2. Already got a B in place. Let's work out which arrow that was. Tab is going to go in there.
Should we use the SP key?
I feel like we should use that instead of the Windows key, just because we can. We've already got page up, we want print screen for the top bit. And so that's going to be the R3 key for there. I don't know what that was going to mean for the rest of ISO support. We shall see. Is that O or is it 0? I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that there until we've put the rest of it on. 2, 3, 4. That's N. And that's M. Don't think we need that. 5. I'm going to assume that it's got terminal ISO support only. 4. I think that's the correct row profile. Yes. Which means we don't need that. Don't need that. Print screen. There we go. Oh, went to get a whiskey. You have to read with a black light. Yeah. First the warehouse wasn't real, and then we found out Jay's cups of coffee aren't real. They are very, very real. Woo. When you finish, this will be the perfect keyboard to take to nightclubs. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I take keyboards to to nightclubs super often, so. Terminal ISO. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, is there a link to it? Yeah, to terminal ISO. Okay, cool. That helps me know what I'm looking for. Yeah. Okay. That was a great link. Thank you very much for sharing that. I'm glad to have that because I'd never looked at the keyting for it before. Whoever's idea this was, they can get in the bin. Like this is terrible having to do this. I can't believe we're having to do this. Like I'm having to check every single key here because I can't see the legends at all. Like if you get them at the right light, in bright daylight, you can kind of see where the legend is there because of the double print, but it is almost impossible to see without really squinting. So the fact that we're having to do it like this is kind of crazy. Missing D and then X. Oh, there's X. And there's terminal ISO, so just missing D and then the close brackets. There's the close brackets. I don't know why I looked at that one. And there is D. Well, okay. So, there we have it. That's SA Black is black on this keyboard. Blame Reed. Someone suggests SA Profile. You suggested this set now. I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. It's
put these keycaps away, and then I will turn off all the lights and show you what the set looks like in its full glory. In fact, I'll turn the lights fully on so you can see just how little you can actually see on these. Does look fit though. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. What I need now is I need an actual blacklight desk light, just so I can see the board. I did hear that someone who won one of these sets was trying to sell it a couple of days ago. They were getting some silly offers in for it. I'm sure I dropped a key. I did. Right, okay, let me turn the stream lights on. Whoops. So you can see exactly how this keyboard looks in the daylight now. Oh, there's another key there. Okay, so this is how the keyboard looks. It looks pretty smart, right? That's pretty slick. But, as you can see, it is almost impossible to read the legends unless you just get them at the right point. But from like reading distance away, completely looks like a black on black set. Completely and utterly looks like a black on black set. But you turn out the lights, you make it go dark, and you hit it with a black light, and all of a sudden the legends spring to life. Do you know what? I'm going to zoom back in for this, just so you guys can see. If I hold it up here, does it? Oh, it's not strong enough as a touch from that distance. I need like a black light that's like here somewhere, but like runs along here, just so we can see. The camera does not do the set justice. Like where you guys can't see here on the screen, you see more of the light. The camera picks up more of the light. For me, it's very much it's just the letter. So I see it like that. Like that, how bright that S is showing up. That's how I see that. Like from here, I can see pretty much the whole keyboard. If I do that, I can kind of see it. If I had a light here, a light here, and a light here, I'd be able to see the whole thing at once. Look how cool that is. It's so cool. It is so cool. It is so cool. Right, let's zoom back out a little bit. Put the lights back on. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Like if I turn it on here, you can still see with daylight on and like this. You can still see the legends. Like it still works. So you'll see what it sounds like though. I'm gonna plug it back in for this because I feel like it'd be silly not to, just because of the noise it makes. Come on, where's the USB connector? Okay, I'm just going to open up a notepad just so I can type without affecting anything. Right, what else am I going to do? I'm just going to pause the music. So let's see what this sounds like with everything turned on, and then I'll unplug it and you can hear it with everything turned off. I wonder if there's a key for that. Doesn't seem to be. Okay. Like the bleep is so loud. There's got to be a way to turn off the bleep. Is it going to be one of these? No. FN and Z or X. Okay. Nope. No. Okay. It's just too loud. I can't type on it like that. Okay. Like, what you can't hear is you guys can't hear that the solenoid is kicking in as well, because all you guys can hear is the chirp. There must be a key combination to turn it off. Plug it into Vial. Actually, that's not a bad shout. Let's load up Vial. Yeah. I'm just gonna start Vial and connect to it and see if there's a key code there for it. It's connecting now. In fact, actually, I'll show you guys this as I'm doing it. Okay, so this is this is Vial for the Class65 V3. As you can see at the top, it does say Class65 V3 there. Let's see if on layer 1 there is anything. Audio on, audio off. Okay, so let's try that. Oh god, no, that's opening all sorts of stuff. That's, wait, what was, oh, I'm holding the wrong one down, that's why. Right, okay. So it should be, there we go. Okay, so that's now got us with with just haptic feedback. I need my notepad again so I don't type into anything. So there we go. And then we should be able to turn the solenoid off with, oh, clicky up and clicky down. And then haptic, oh, hold on. Clicky up, should be that. Oh gosh. And then clicky reset should be that. Turn off haptics. Okay, and there we go. We're back to silent mode now. Okay. And then if we do haptic feedback, on, off, and reset. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Let's turn the haptics off, and then you guys can hear it. So that should be now off. What's the clicky up and clicky down do? So that. That's even worse. Wow, that is kind of crazy. Okay, that. So now we go. That's certainly something. That's something, right? Sounds delicious. It sounds cool as hell, but I'm not sure I could live with it every day. Let's just unplug it for now. The double solenoid is just a bit too much. Yeah, I agree. Let's see how the board actually sounds. Do you know what? It's quite a soft noise. That actually sounds pretty good. for an SA keycap set on a top mount board, that sounds chef's kiss. Like, that sounds so good. And look how nice it looks as well. Like, it really, really suits the SA profile, does this? Look at that. I really like the wrist rest. The wrist rest is lovely. And the fact that it has the rubber, so you can't actually bash it in and clang it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. How much does it weigh? Let's do a weight check. Let's grab the scales and turn them on. So this weighs 1.14 pounds, which is 845 grams. So the wrist rest weighs 845 grams, or 0.85 kilos. And the board itself weighs in at 2.8 kilos. So it's not a light board, it's pretty chunky. So you're talking with both 3.7 kilos, give or take. 3.7 kilos. It's pretty chunky. Pretty chunky. If you're built with the aluminium plate and the solder PCB and the foams, you know, it's getting up there in numbers. It's pretty chunky. I think that came out pretty cool though. How cool is that board? And the fact that we have to have a blacklight on to be able to see the legends is something else. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Pretty happy with that. Let's pop the music back on. The double solenoid is just a little bit too much, I agree. I might try and use this for, this is a polypropylene plate, Pork Thief. It's polypropylene plate and Gateron X R3 switches with Type Plus stabilizers and SA blackest black keycaps. It's pretty cool though. I'm pretty excited by how this has come out. Yeah, I'm pretty excited by it. Like, it's absolutely usable, and I often worry with SA keycaps, especially on like a softer plate, but it sounds really good. Yeah, I'll be reporting the ISO issue. So for those who weren't here at the time on the stream, the stabilizer for the ISO enter actually interferes with the hot swap socket for the ANSI enter. So it does need to be adjusted slightly. I'll see if I can get the guys to sort that out. I think the easiest thing to do is to just flip the stabilizer and have the wire on this side. That will eliminate any issues. So yeah, but I'll make sure that's reported tomorrow. Cool. Okay, well, that is it for the stream, guys. I know it's been a short one today, but I want to get home and try and catch as much of the F1 as possible. So I'm going to head off now, and I'll see you guys on... I think we're going to do a stream on Thursday this week, because I have a couple of customer builds to catch up on, which would be quite good streaming content. So we'll be back on Thursday, and there'll be stuff on Instagram from Tuesday onwards. Remember, bank holiday tomorrow, so nothing is shipping out tomorrow, but we'll be back on Tuesday shipping stuff out. Right, I'm going to try and head home. Hopefully I'll be home in 10 minutes or so. I'll see you guys on Discord and Instagram soon. Take care, have a really, really great night, and enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend.